Hey everyone, what's going on? Greg here again from TM Blast. In this video, I'm going to share how one of my clients has seen a 96% increase in phone calls to their business from better keyword rankings in their Google Maps profile. I'm also going to share how their Google Search Console clicks are growing for both brand and also non-brand queries. I'm going to go over local Falcon reports showing the improvement in their share of local voice metric for their target keywords. I'm also going to share Bing metrics that come from their Bing Places for Business account. And then finally, I'm going to go over some of the things that I did both on the website and also their Google My Business account to improve their local SEO. I hope you guys enjoy. One of my clients has seen a 96% improvement in phone calls to their business. I took over their account a few months ago, and essentially where they were in November and December was losing a lot of rankings. And because of those loss in rankings, they were not getting as many phone calls to their business. They are out in New Hampshire. They service about a 20 to 30 mile radius. They service both B2B and also B2C, so business to business, also business to consumer clients. And essentially, again, when they came to me, when I looked at their account, they lost a lot of position 1, 2, or 3 rankings, which means they were no longer on page 1 of Google for a lot of their primary and secondary keywords. So here's the phone call metrics. Again, what this video is about: 96% improvement in phone calls. So I'm looking at December 2023 through April 2024. You can see it actually really started to take off in March and April. Now there is seasonality with their business, but again, when you look at the metrics of year over year in Google My Business, we're up 96% in phone calls. So a couple of things: Google Search Console growth stats. So what I did here was I redacted their name, and I'm just showing total clicks taking place to their business. I'm looking at the last 6 months. So again, when they reached out to me, they saw a noticeable drop in traffic and keyword rankings around November of 2023. So I wanted to kind of include that and show how things were stagnated. And then in the last 2 months or so, that's when the growth has started to come with the clicks to their website. When I remove their brand name now, obviously there's a better way to do this. If you can pull it in Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel, you can really remove many different variations of a brand name. But simply with this, I removed one version of their brand name. You can see here the growth that's taking place for clicks to their website. Local Falcon keyword SOLV growth, so share of local voice. This is the thing that I care most about for all of my local clients, but I'm going to focus on this one in particular. So I'm redacting the keyword name, I'm redacting their grid location. But what I'm showing though is a 22-mile radius in this. And a few months ago, they were ranking about 2.5% for all of the dots there in the 9x9 grid on page 1. Now you can see we actually kind of peaked around April, then it kind of dropped down a little bit. Now we're starting to recover in May. A growth trend like this is really important to share because it's not always going to just be a continuous rise, but when you compare where you were a few months ago to where you are now, and you see the growth in keyword rankings, that results in more phone calls. Keyword 2, same thing. So you can see when we started, it was around a 20% share of local voice. Now it's at a 35%. So again, more growth taking place. The dip that happens, that's actually very common. Competition comes into play. Google updates with local rankings, anything that can happen. So it's very important to keep running these reports in Local Falcon as often as you can, just to keep measuring a trend line. And if you notice they dropped, kind of trying to address it, see what you can do. Keyword 3, it's redacted, same thing. So the metric I care about is SOLV. So we started at just under 17.5, now it's at 22. So it's just a sample of keywords that are growing. Bing metrics, now this is not that important, but I share this because what I do is I sync the changes from Google My Business directly into Bing. For some of my clients, Bing can make up about 10 to 15% of total traffic and phone calls. For this particular client, it's not so much. But what I do with this view though, is I like to look at how people are finding their listing on Bing. So it's a search, map, and desktop, mobile, all this kind of stuff. It's not as helpful as Google, so I don't really go into it as much. Changes that I made. So this is probably what you're most interested in. So when I work on local accounts, I focus on 2 areas: website and then also Google My Business. Even though they're similar, they have 2 different strategies. So for the website, I updated the content on the page to split out the locations that they serve and each service that they do. Number 2, display their address on their Google My Business account. So initially they were a service business only. I advocated for getting the address to be shown. So you can, when you do a service area business, it's very easy to list off a lot of different locations that you service. In my experience, I recommend let's do a radius around your address, let's display it, and let's build the map around that, which actually worked. Adding services, products, and also making updates. So anytime the team was out doing a project, or I would make kind of like a PSA announcement within the updated section. These are good ways to keep an active profile. So again, write updates on a weekly basis. I rewrote their main description, so you have about 750 characters to work with. So I rewrote it completely to go over exactly what they offer and also nearby towns and cities that they service. I did a lot of competitor gap analysis using local Falcon. So I will pull competitor reports for the primary keywords that they want to rank for. And then I will look at the gap analysis. So gap analysis could be things like their services, their primary categories, total reviews, updates, anything else like that. The competitor analysis was actually quite important. I sync the changes directly into Bing. So again, Bing is a small part for this particular client, but I do that for all of my clients whenever I can bring over changes. There are things, though, that Bing does not carry over from Google My Business. So there are additional changes that you can do within an account. So it's not just syncing the changes, but for this particular client, I just want to make sure that any change I did within Google, I synced it into Bing. And then ran weekly local Falcon reports for a plethora of different keywords just to see how we were progressing with the changes that we were doing. Usually I give Google about a week or so to kind of stabilize after we make a change. So I might run a report 2 or 3 times a week for one very primary search keyword, and then for the secondary keywords I might run like once a week or once every 15 days, just to kind of get some sort of baseline metric. But running multiple reports is actually quite valuable because I want to see the trend line. And of course, there's more things going on too. So we did some UI changes and some UX changes onto the website, content changes, internal links, Google My Business, helpful signals on the website. So it's really just a lot of things that we did. But anyway, long story short, they are seeing an improvement in their phone calls. They're getting more phone calls to their business from the better rankings in Google My Business. And of course, Bing makes up some of those calls as well. So anyway, hope you guys found this video to be helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And as always, have a good rest of your day.